Well, hello everybody. Welcome to another day of art with me. I'm gonna wait for some people to join. It's supposed to be really nice the next few days here in the Midwest anyway. Okay, I'm finally getting some people joining. So today we're going to be making these little flowers. I'm going to teach you how to do these little flowers out of watercolor. So the things you're going to need for today, you're going to need a hair dryer. You always need a hair dryer. A hair dryer is one of the most important things when watercoloring. So a hair dryer, this is my little travel hair dryer. I use it often when I do watercolor. You're going to need watercolor brushes, and my suggestion is to have a fatter watercolor. Usually I say I like to do even fatter than this, but I'm going to use this size today. And then you'll need a smaller one. So 2 different sizes of watercolor brushes. And then inks. You're going to need something like a white ink pen, which I talked about yesterday in my video, which is, this one is a Signo Uniball white, which I love. I bought it on Amazon. Or you can use, if you have white ink, acrylic ink, you can use that, which I have right here. And this was just bought at Walmart. Comes in like a little pack of several different primary colors. Or if you only have like white paint, you could use white paint too. Anything that will write white. Also, my husband brought to my attention that some people use white correction pens, like office supplies that has the white correction stuff. You can use that stuff too. I never thought of that. Also, you'll need a permanent pen, like a Micron pen. I like the number 3. That's the one that most people like, is Micron number 3. But you can do any size, but Micron, especially because it doesn't bleed. It's permanent, so once it goes on, it's good to go. And then, of course, you're gonna need your paint rag. You're also gonna need, now on the thing I said on my supply list, I stated that you need 2 cups of water, 2 separate cups of water, and I have this container. I don't know if you could see, it's got a split in the middle of it, and it's got 2 separate waters there. And my husband bought this for me a few Christmases ago. It's one of my favorite gifts, because the reason being is because the splits in it are so you can use one side to clean your brush, and the other side, so once you've cleaned it, okay, this is with the initial dirty paint, once you've cleaned it, then you stick it in the other one, and that ensures that your brush is super clean, right? It works so great. I never even thought to do that until he got me this, and now I absolutely love it. So you need 2 cups of water, or one of these if you have one of these. And that's just to ensure that your brush is nice and clean. I set that right there. And then you're gonna need watercolor. Now, you could use several different types of whatever watercolor you have. You could use liquid watercolor, which would be a little harder to do. I've never used liquid watercolor with this type of flower, but you could probably use it. I have these little watercolors that I bought. They are what I like to call cake watercolors, but I think they're called pan watercolors, I believe is maybe what they're called. But anyway, I bought these at Michael's, maybe? Michael's or Hobby Lobby, one or the other. Anyway, this is what they look like when you swatch them. And they're dry. They're not liquidy, right? And I like these a lot, but my all-time favorite, I just invested in a brand new, I'm going to use both of them so you can see both of them. But, well, you can also even use the Crayola watercolors if you have those. Those are fantastic too. But then my favorite is, I bought these, they're called Core watercolor, and these are like the brighter version. I don't know actually what the name of the I think it's chromatic, core chromatic watercolor. And these are tube watercolors, and I never used them until a few months ago. Tube watercolors, they're like liquidy inside, but not watered down. It's like super pigmented watercolor, right? And so you can use them straight out the tube like that, but a lot of people don't like to do that because you use a lot of paint that way. And so what I like to do is, I do like to use them like that, but what I like to do is take them, and I already have some that's already on here. I like to take them and put a little bit in these little things. It's like a little container, like a little tin lid. I like to put a little bit in the tin lid and then let them dry. So they're kind of like the the pan watercolors. And then it's easier to do these type of flowers. So if you're a beginner, you should be watching this. And this is how you do like an easy flower. So that's what you need. You need watercolor and watercolor paper. I forgot to mention that. You're gonna need some paper. And you can get some relatively cheap watercolor paper if you can't really afford a whole lot and you're a youngin'. And you can buy this watercolor paper at Hobby Lobby, super cheap. And they're just little, it's like a little pad of it. Now, because we're not watercoloring the whole page, you don't need to tape it down. But normally, when you're using, I'm just going to use it like this. Normally, when you're doing watercolor and you're doing, say, an entire sheet of watercolor, if I can find one, I'll show you what I mean by that. Okay, so if you're doing like an entire sheet of watercolor, you want to take painter's tape and tape your paper to the table. And so then when you peel it off, first off, it stops the color from going everywhere. And it gives it this nice effect to it where it looks like you have a mat board around it. It looks more professional. But we're not coloring the whole thing unless, of course, you want to. That's up to you. But that's how you would do that if you were doing a whole watercolor paper. Okay? So we're going to be doing these little flowers, and I teach you how to make these flowers out of watercolor. And so I'm going to put these aside for now. And then I'm going to take my paper. Now, first step is I'm going to do the whole sheet, okay? So the first step is you want to open your watercolor, whichever ones you're using. You're going to get to see what the difference is between the two pans also, different watercolors. I'm gonna give you just a little bit about this. These are called confections, Pastel Dreams, and the name of it is the brand is called Prisma something. You can look it up, Pastel Dreams Confections, and should pull it up on like Amazon or something like that, or just on Google if you wanted to look it up, see what it is. Anyway, so these are my more opaque, and what happens is they turn out more chalky than these. These are what we call artist grade watercolor, the core. Okay? Now that we've got that out of the way, let's go on and get started. So you're going to take your brush. This is called a loose flower design. So loose water flower design. So basically it's kind of just a, loosely do it. You're not doing super detail, okay? So you're going to take your brush, figure out which cup you want for your mainly dirty water, okay? And then you're going to get you're going to load your brush with water. Now, I'm going to pull this up here so maybe you could see it a little better, what I'm doing here. Put your pens aside, or your inks or white paint or whatever it is you have. Put those aside for now because you don't need those for now. And then what I like about this thing is it's got this thing where you could put your brushes and set them in there, which is kind of cute. Okay, now you're going to take your water and you're going to load it onto your brush. You don't want to push too much out because you're trying to get your paint wet, right? So I'm going to take the first one. I like to use darker colors with these because the darker colors show up a lot better with the white ink. So I'm going to take the purple first. I think maybe I might zoom up on this so you all can see. So you want to load your brush with purple or a dark color. Let me zoom up so you all can see what I'm doing here. Hopefully you'll be able to see the painting. There we go. Okay. All right. Now you're going to load that up on your brush. Get a lot in there. okay? A lot. And then you're going to take your brush and you're going to make it really dark, okay? Now you could do this flower big, it's up to you. Look at all that dark color that just went on, that's so pretty. Now you're gonna take your brush and you're gonna rinse it out in the first cup. So rinse out in the first cup, and then you're gonna take it and you're gonna rinse it in the second cup, second side. And that really gets it clean. Now you're gonna leave that water in that brush, quite a bit of water, and then you're gonna take it while it's still wet and you're gonna start brushing up. Now you see that? It's like a gradient. Now I think I might have had maybe a little bit too much water in it, but that's okay. Just pull it up as big as you want your flower to go. I think I might have ruined that when I had too much water on it. You gotta be careful because sometimes you get too much water and then it doesn't work proper, but that's okay. I'm gonna go back over this with a dark purple at the bottom. And it should just bleed up. If you do that, it should bleed up and you should be okay. But look, so when you're doing watercolor, if you put too much water on it, you'll be able to tell when it dries. See, it's super, I had way too much water on that. And when it dries, it doesn't dry like this one. This one had the perfect amount of water on it. And you'll see when it dries. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my hair dryer and I'm going to dry that really quick so you all can see what I'm talking about. Be careful. Pull it kind of far away because you don't want it right on it because it'll make it spider. That's what you don't want. Do you see this? That doesn't look right. And it's okay though. You can try it with another one. It takes a little bit of practice. I'm kind of relatively new to doing these flowers. So okay, I'm going to load my brush again, make sure it's nice and clean, and I'm going to do another flower, a different color. So I'm going to pick a different color. I'm going to do this really bright pink, okay? Make sure you got enough water in your brush. But not too much, because I messed that one up. All right. And then rinse out your brush again in the dirty cup, and then re-rinse in the clean cup, and then kind of push out some of that water. You don't want too much. I had way too much in that last one. And then you're just going to take your brush and you're going to pull it up. Now, see that? That's way better. Way better. And then you're going to do it again. Now you can make different shapes. You don't have to do the same shape. You can do different shapes of flowers. Now I'm going to use one of these now so you can see the difference. And I'm going to do this pretty blue right here. And make sure you load your brush up. Now I have problems working with the cakes with this. I don't know why. Maybe I just haven't mastered it yet. Load it on there. I'm going to do this one kind of ovally, okay? Rinse your brush out. Not too much water. Remember, I had way too much on that one. And pull it up. So the second time, you're not loading paint. You're just pulling up. Now, see how that one actually worked really well. All right. Do another one, a different color. Now by this point, you should be kind of getting the hang of it, right? You should be getting the hang of it. You do little ones. You just pick where you want them. It's up to you. I'm going to do several of these, but then I got to hurry up and pull the paint up because it does dry relatively quickly. Oh, I love the way those turned out. Those look great. Yep, and I think I'm going to do another one of those. I really like that color. That's a good color. Okay, I'm going to try, maybe I'll try a little orange. An orange one. Little bitty, right at the bottom. That's a nice vibrant color right there. Rinse your brush out. Don't forget, double cup. All right, and then pull it up with your water. There we go. Now, you want to take your hairdryer and you want to dry it off. So, I'm going to pull this back out a little bit. Okay. And then I'm going to put my water over here for a second. We will need this again, but for now I'm just going to put that aside. Okay, and now the next step is, oh, you can see my clay things over here. Sorry. Okay, and then the next step you're going to do is take your hairdryer. Once you have that pretty dry, the next step is you're going to take your Micron pen and we're going to start to draw our little stems onto the flower, okay? So that's just draw your stems first. Figure out how you want them. You can go just like this. You could do like little teeny tiny lines. Let me zoom up again. All right, can you see that? There we go. I'll turn it this way so maybe you all can see. I could maybe do it upside down. And then another one. There we go. And then do another one. And you could kind of look, if you kind of look sometimes where you put your brush in the beginning, it'll be like sometimes a little divot. And that's really cool because then you could put your stem right there where that little divot's at. And then sometimes not. All right. There we go. So this is all of our stems, what we've drawn so far. And then the next step is you want to put little leaves on it. So for the little leaves, you could do several different leaves. You can do this type of leaf. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. Pardon me. Like that. And you could do those several parts of the flower. Then you can do a leaf that looks like this. It's rounded. Now, I like to put them just a little bit below one another when I do them. So then I'm just going to do several of those. And you could put them as far down the stem as you want, all the way down if you want. Okay, and then for this one, I'm going to put a straight line, and then I'm going to bring it down. See that? So straight line out, kind of diagonal though, bring it down. Out. I did that one a little wrong. That's okay. Up and down. So that's the for that. And then just continue to do that. Try to figure out how you want your leaves to look. Now they don't always have to have leaves all the way down it. You could do just two if you wanted, which is what I'm going to do with that. And then these, I'm going to give these little circles for leaves. Because, I mean, why not? It's my piece of art. It's your piece of art. You can make it however you want. That's up to you. And then I'll get closer so you can see what I did so far. Here. All right, now once you have this done, the next step is to make the flower itself. So you want to draw over the flower. So the next step is to put a little dot right above all of the stems, okay? The purple one you can't really see too well. All of the stems. Okay, and once you have that, you're going to take little lines and you're going to pull it out. You see that? Pull that out. Just like I did there. And you're going to do that. See, these kind of look like petals. So you want to do that with those petals. If you made one like that. Just like this. And then at the top of that, you can put little circles if you want or not. That's up to you. I am going to put little circles. And you're going to do that on all of them. Now, you don't have to make all of them straight. You can make them swirly, you know, so you could give it a little bit of whatever. You could mix it up a little bit. Make them wavy if you want. And then put your little circles at the top if you like. All right. Just keep going. The purple, if you did purple, the darker colors, sometimes you can't really see the black on it too well. That's okay. Just, you can always fix it with the white ink if you wanted to. Okay, and then again, I'm almost done with these. And then on to the next step. And I want to make this one a little different, I think. Instead of putting circles, I'm going to do like little hearts. That's cute. And you could do that with all of them. You could put whatever you wanted on them. Just get creative. And so I'm going to do ovals with this one instead of circles. Or teardrops maybe, more or less. All right. Next is to add lines to your leaves if you want. So for these, I'm definitely going to add some lines. But I'm not going to do it on all of them because I don't want all of them to look the same. See how I did that? So you do the line and then every other. Okay. And maybe I'll give this one some polka dots. Because it's, you know, your own creation. Do what you want. Okay, now I'm done. That's all I wanted to do with those. To the next, well, maybe not. Maybe I'll put some stripes on this one. That'll be cute. We'll do stripes on that one. All right, now the really cool thing about the Micron ink is you can paint over it and it's not going to bleed your ink, which I think is awesome. You want to wait a few seconds, kind of let it, you know, maybe if you want to dry it a little bit. Usually it's pretty good and it seeps right into the paper. Next step is to take your smaller brush and you're going to dip it in the water. Load your brush up with water. Now this step, you don't want your leaf colors to be as bright as your flower colors because you really want your flower to pop. So you want to water down the color that you have. So you want it kind of watered. So add a little extra water, and it doesn't have to be super precise. It's just basically splotch it on there. Because this is a loose watercolor that you're doing. So just splotch it on. You see how I splotch it on? It's not really directly in the lines. Like I know with art, most people teach you to stay within the lines, but with watercolor, you don't have to do that. And it's really awesome. So pick different colors to do on your leaves, okay? So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to pick out some different colors. Maybe mix some colors if you wanted to. You can mix. And that would be really nice to mix your colors. So I mixed some blue with some green in there. And then just very loosely. Add your color. And you see how it's not bleeding? That a lot of artists love to use microns. I know I do. Because they don't bleed. And you can just make them really awesome and whatever. All right, I need to mix some water in my pan. Now I'm using my core watercolor for this one. That one's a little bright, and I should have made maybe just a little less paint and a little more water with that. So what I did was I added a little bit of water to my paintbrush, and I soaked up that paint. That's how you can do that. But I do like super bright colors also, so I think I'm going to add some blue, some of this really pretty blue with this yellowy color. And then I'm also going to add water to it because, like I said, you want it watered down. And then I'm going to do that on all of these little circles. Perfect. It's not too bright. There we go. And it's kind of loose. Rinse your brush every once in a while. Pick up some more color. So maybe I'll do this one now. This pretty little green one. But I'm going to have to add water to this because it's that cake watercolor and it's super opaque. There we go. That turned out good. Not super bright, very pretty. Too much water. So if you have too much water, remember what I said, just put your brush down in there and pick it up. All right, and then I have one more on this side. Wash your brush out. I like to do every once in a while like an olive color, and if you like olive green, you can add brown to your green, and that'll give you an olivey color. So that's what I do. Add some green to this, brown, to give me an olive green. Okay, and then I'm just going to color these. There we go. Now we have all that. Now you want to go back with your hair dryer. And we're done with the watercolor now. So now you want to go back with your hair dryer and dry it just in case. Okay, and then the next step is your ink. Now, if you have a white ink pen, that's great. If you don't, and you, like I said, if you have the acrylic inks, those are great to use. Would have to add a little bit of water with it because it kind of works a little bit like watercolor too. Or you could use white paint or whatever it is you want to use. Now, I'm using this Signo White Uniball ink because it's what I like. And you're just going to start putting dots on your flowers. Just all over, little, big. You see how that's just really bringing out the flower? It's really cute. And it's no rhyme or reason, just wherever you want on it. So see how I did that? And you're going to do that to all of them. So just put little dots all over your flowers. This would make a really cute like handmade card for somebody if you wanted to do that. It also look really cute in a mat board and frame if you wanted to do that. It would be adorable. All right, and just do that. Big dots, little dots. I love this one. I think that one's awesome. I love the shape of it. If anybody has any suggestions on watercolor for other people or myself, because I'm always willing to learn. I love when artists share their techniques and ideas with others. I think it's fantastic. And so if you have any ideas or techniques that you want to share, please do. You can post it in the comments. And then this last one here, with the little hearts, which I love. All right, now let me zoom out. this is what we made. We did a really cute, easy to follow along with watercolor flower painting, and I hope you all enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it for all of you to learn. Join me tomorrow for another tutorial of something, not sure what yet, at 11 o'clock. All our information of City Museum is at citymuseum.org or our Facebook page. And until tomorrow, see you then.